With Angeline on the relationship with global governance. I've been asked to write a paper for the G8 research group in anticipation of the Italian G8, which is in June, on corporate social responsibility. And I've entitled the paper, which I'll circulate when it's ready in about a week or so, Corporate Social Responsibility, an excellent idea, but can it be implemented? And the argument that I'm making is that it cannot be implemented under the present institutional system, which is inadequate. When I was ambassador to the OECD, we were talking a lot about voluntary guidelines, saying, well, heck, let's ask the CEOs to be responsible, to be ethical, to be this and that. Now, in the financial area, this has failed miserably, because you've had greed, you've had Madoffs, you've had all sorts of things like that. So the position I'm taking, and I think it's a position that is strengthened by events, is that if we want corporate social responsibility, in fact, if we want responsible behavior by investors and by corporations, we need global corporate law. Unless we have global corporate law, we're not going to have that. If we have 190 jurisdictions from each other, then it's a bonanza for corporations escaping one jurisdiction and going into another. The way we have corporate law in any nation state is not voluntary guidelines. We don't ask companies to be nice. There is the law, and if you don't respect the law, you go to jail. You have this. And in fact, there's a very interesting book by a chap called Edward Ludwig called Turbo Capitalism, and he argues that capitalism before globalization was heavily regulated in the US and worked nicely. Worked nicely because if corporations were out of line, then greedy lawyers would do class action suits and force the corporations to be conforming with corporate law. So my view is that you have to have global corporate law, and yet we have no institution now to impose global corporate law. Possibly, an extension of the mandate of the World Trade Organization could be a possibility, would be a candidate. But right now there's no organization. And the World Trade Organization, instead of disciplining corporations, interprets its mandate almost entirely as disciplining governments and punishing governments if they step out of line. And corporations are supposed to be regulated at the national level, but with globalization, this is totally ineffective. So we have to have, as one of the elements of global governance, an enforceable global corporate law with teeth. And right now, we don't have that. As long as we don't have that, we'll have all the excesses. And I think I agree with what Angeline said at our conference included, that in 5 years we'll be back to square one with the irresponsibility and the excesses.